I'm recording this message in the Easter season. Just behind me here in the Bishop's Chapel in Leicester is the image of the risen Christ, the wounds of crucifixion, but the liberation of new life. We see signs of the risen Christ and the power of the resurrection around our diocese a great deal. And one of the most impressive signs in the last year or two has been our Parish Contribution system. Last year we found a 1% increase in the income of the diocese as a result of the parish's generosity, and 1.8% is anticipated for the coming year. 36 parishes went well beyond what they promised, and around the diocese we are seeing signs that people recognise that there is now an opportunity to invest in the growth of the diocese for the future. This is good news of the resurrection. I'm immensely grateful for the efforts so many of you have made, and I want to encourage those of you who perhaps can go a little further to do what you can to ensure that the good news of Jesus Christ risen from the dead is heard with much greater effect in the years ahead.
Where does the money go? Here it is, the Diocese of Leicester, stretching from Bosworth to Bottisford and Kilworth to Kegworth. The city lies in the middle, surrounded by largely rural populations and market towns. We represent more than 300 parishes, serving nearly 1 million people. This is the big picture of us together, being and sharing the good news of Jesus Christ, deepening discipleship and serving those who need us. Last month, more than 22,000 people worshipped in our churches, and over 21,000 children are taught in our 97 church schools and academies. We can be really proud to be part of this. You are part of this big picture. Because of your parish and the work you do, we are able, together, to be present in every community, and not just in bricks and mortar, but in people. Some of these key people are our clergy, around 140 of them paid for centrally, as well as around 260 volunteer clergy and licensed lay ministers. It's by having these people working alongside others in each community that we can make a difference right across our diocese. But how do we pay for this big picture? It costs some serious money, about £8 million a year. And where does this money come from? It's tempting to believe in a sort of magic chequebook, but sadly these don't exist. We get some support from the National Church, but the bulk of the responsibility for funding parish ministry rests with us, all of us, as a diocese. The money to pay for our parish ministry across the diocese is what we raise ourselves. So we've said that it costs about £8 million a year. Let's look at where it does come from. 2/3 of what we have to spend comes from Parish Contribution, the money we share together to work together. The rest is income from investments, property, grants and donations. So simply, the answer to what does Parish Contribution pay for is that it allows us to provide ministers across the diocese. It pays for your vicar and for vicars and curates in parts of our diocese very different from your own. It pays for their wages, their pension, their housing, their training, and it even pays for the training of your next vicar, who you haven't even met yet, but I'm sure is very nice. And this is how we are present and making a difference in parishes all across the Leicester diocese. I know what you're thinking. Where does the rest of the money go? Well, it supports administration of our schools and our chaplaincies. It goes towards the National Church and the running of the central administration that allows us to function as a diocese. Nothing is wasted. And staff of the diocese fulfil an important role supporting parishes through the finance, property and through specialist advisors. You might be surprised to discover just how small each department is. Where possible, this money is raised separately so that everything raised by parishes can go to parishes. Every parish gives to this and every parish receives, which reflects all of us doing this together. Parish Contribution is one of the things that binds us together as a diocesan family. Wherever possible, money from sales of assets is reinvested in parishes through the growth and capital funds, so each church can be directly involved in mission in their area. But what about the big projects the diocese supports, like St Martin's House, Laund Abbey and Cathedral Gardens? Well, the good news is that all of these have been funded by grants from other bodies, donations and fundraising, and not a penny from parish contributions. So we can enjoy the benefits of them without any reduction in the resourcing of parishes like yours. This story plays out all over the diocese, God's people involved in His mission together. Our giving allows us to be present in every community, providing ministry and resourcing our mission. It's worth remembering that generous giving into parish ministry will cause the story to grow, so more is done now and more can be done in the future. So that's how our diocesan finances work. It's a way that we express being one body by doing more together than we could ever do alone. We do this because of our gratitude to God for what He has done for us. It's your continued generosity that makes this possible, so thank you for all that you give towards God's work in our diocese.
I've been working at this desk for the last 16 years as Bishop of Leicester, and as you know, I shall be soon retiring. The last 10 years of this time, we've been working on a mission agenda shaped by God that has helped us realise a whole range of new initiatives for mission and growth. One of the most recent and one of the most effective has been the Growth Fund. The renewal of the Shaped by God programme has led us to think about the parable of the mustard seed, the way in which the Church grows from small beginnings into a great plant through faith in God and through God's providing for us. This is so vividly the imagery that speaks of what is happening in this diocese as we see growth happening around us. The parable of the mustard seed is a reminder that we invest in each other's growth, not just in our own. We're not just concerned for our own congregation, but with the congregation down the road, across the deanery, or in very different parts of the diocese. That vision of seeing beyond the immediate and local into the larger picture is what has released so much generosity and so much wider understanding than we had in the past. This year, I want to ask you to think and pray about the contribution you can make. I'm not going to ask for a specific percentage increase. Some will be able to do very much more than others. I hope you will prayerfully consider what God is asking of you and what generosity in response to God means for you. Within just a few months, I will have retired, and it will be my task to give thanks to God for these very fulfilling years and to pray for the life and growth of this diocese. I'm absolutely confident it is in God's hands and that the people of God are learning to respond. In that thanksgiving and that confidence, I ask God's blessing on you as you attend to what He's asking you to do, to bring in His kingdom and speak His good news in this diocese in the coming year. God bless you, and God be with you all.